I just started watching the other video because I made it for one person and I thought, well, I should probably check it out, make sure it's still okay. Like maybe I should. Then I started watching it. That maybe I shouldn't post this because it's about Bismarck. Like some people knowing I've been here for a couple months and still not really hearing from people, even though I'm an hour and a half away. But let me preface that by saying it's nobody's fault. I already lost people. It's been 5 years. People moved on, and I lost people before I moved. But I want to add a few more really important things. I was somewhere safe for 2 months, and that's a big deal when you're. I was diagnosed with CPTSD, and I've been trying to keep my head above water for years. Like even if I'd wanted to come back to Bismarck, there's no way I could have physically done it. Money-wise, done it. Like emotionally, mentally, done it. But what I've spent this past 5 years obsessing about is people didn't believe me. When I said I didn't have a drinking problem or a drug problem, once in a while, I used some things to get through. That's called harm reduction. I could go have a beer right now and then just have a beer because I'm having a good day. But I'm not going to, and it's not gonna. I don't need to drink. But that's the thing is that, unless you go to see these people, unless you are there, if somebody that you care about tells you that they're not, just believe them. Just believe them. If somebody tells you they're doing what they can to get better, just believe them. But I know it's so hard because I'm just like everybody else. I haven't believed people. I haven't, consciously, subconsciously, both. I think I've been saying self-consciously, subconsciously. I thought about saying it was a bigger deal. I thought about lying about it to get more help here. And, I had help, but what got me better is my better meds, more stimulants. This is me on more stimulants. If you know anybody ADHD, what makes other people hyper and talk fast and blah, 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 is what calms me down. And mood stabilizers and being able to regulate my emotions. I've chemically gotten chemical help with regulating my emotions because it's something I have not been able to do. And I still have a hard time with it when I'm around people. But I think I started talking about that where I was so glad my case manager was with me at this meeting I had with the housing director because I was, I kept talking after everything was okay. And I kept talking and thinking in my head, stop talking, just gonna think you're on drugs, just gonna think you're crazy. And I still couldn't stop talking. And I started talking about this and I didn't finish it. I know it's a train analogy where the train's coming at me and I'm on the tracks and I can't move, I'm frozen and it's bearing down on me, but also I'm the train. And it's 49% of my brain goes, Kristen, if you keep talking, you're not going to be able to make that friend. You're going to overwhelm people. You're going to come off as too much. You're going to or crazy, for lack of a better term, or on drugs, or just, you're not going to get the job interview. You're not going to get the job. You're not going to be able to keep the job. You're not going to make that friend. You're not going to make that connection. And it's what's happened this past 5 years, just over and over again, where literally job interviews are traumatic. Trying to make friends is traumatic. But I've made 3 or 4 new friends now, good friends. But I was so glad that someone else saw it because I still can't validate myself all the time. And I was like, there, you see what I was talking about? He's like, yeah, I saw that. He said, I'm going to call the housing lady and tell her that, that's just how you are. Partly because I think he did it because I was so anxious about it. It's like that 51% just says, you're doing great. Just ignore that. Just keep talking, keep going. And you need to explain yourself. You have to explain yourself all the time. You have to explain everything all the time, which is kind of what I'm doing here. But I feel like this is, some kind of moment for me. Even though I understand and it's systemic, it's the way the world is and the way people are, and I'm the same as everybody else. I still get to speak my truth, and sometimes people don't say anything because they don't know what to say, or they think you're lying, or they don't know what to think, and I get that, but it really, really, really messed me up. And it was just a matter of time, if I've said it before. I moved I moved right before global pandemic. I left a job that I had loved, but because there was some serious shit going on at work that was making me really sick. And it didn't make a difference. It didn't matter if I reported it or not. And got pushed under the rug. And you know, when I moved for a relationship that I knew was a bad idea, and I think I feel bad about that. You know, and I moved right before and I didn't give I left a job in a rush because I just needed to get the hell out of there, and I didn't have another job lined up, and then I couldn't find one before COVID, and then I, you know, got dumped. We would have broken up anyway, and then I was alone during a pandemic in a strange place without coworkers, you know, and it's just all these things happen. I had 5 pets die in a year and a half. That's a lot. So, you know, I had, for all the reasons they died, and I had 2 car accidents, totaled 2 cars. Had 60, 70, 80 job interviews, started 20 jobs I couldn't do, wasn't able to stay at or that didn't want me, and it's been a really long road, and I'm finally on my way back, I think. And I think everyone supported me. When I say community in Bismarck, I have community. It's just that the people who are the people that's most supportive are the ones that barely know me or have never even met me in person, and that's a hard pill to swallow. You know, because I certainly have been the villain in other people's stories, and I don't have villains in my story. I just have things I've lost and people I've lost, but that's also what happens with growing up, isn't it? And that's just life. Anyway, thank you all for listening. If you are, I am going to get back to it. I have almost everything I need for my apartment. I'm just no couch, which I can't wait for because my back is crap, and I'm hoping it's more comfortable. But also, what helps is moving around sometimes. So I'm gonna keep moving. In general, figuratively and whatever we know what I'm saying, literally and blah blah blah. Good night.